everyone who's joining us out there or, in the future. Welcome to our stream of the Red Hand of Doom. I am your game master, Zach, and we have an exciting session today. Our players are going to, well, we'll get into the recap after we say hi to everyone first. So, let's see. Austin. You missed a session, but then Sivnus came back for this past one, and well, you've made it to Drellin's Ferry, which is sort of on the far opposite side of the Vale where you're from, and it's a much smaller town, right? And yeah, what are your thoughts? How you
He
doing?
thinks that the peasants are smelly and that the place is awful and that he wishes he were among civilized folk in a nice fine bed, getting served tea by a wonderful automaton and all sorts of fabulous, wealthy things that he can unfortunately not afford.
Well, as far as comfortable beds go, the Old Bridge Inn, run by Kellen Shadowbanks, is pretty fine. Halflings know how to treat their guests, right? Um, but be that as it may, I mean, Sivnus may have very, very grand dreams indeed. All right. Only the finest, what, Pegasus down for Sivnus, something like that.
Oh no, he prefers the synthetically conjured stuff.
Fair enough. All right. How about Mark playing Felix? How you doing today? Ooh, yes. hmm This is your hometown too. Mm, fair enough. Call in the cavalry. All right, and lastly tonight, our fourth player unfortunately is not joining us, but we have playing none other than Godfrey, Sir Godfrey, always, Sir.
That's right. I didn't go to night school for 10 years for you to drop the sir, okay? Yeah, no, things are going great. We last time, basically, yeah, like I said, we got to Drellin's Ferry. It seems like a quaint little fantasy town run by some charming individuals. My only concern is that they seem I don't know, devastatingly naive about the hobgoblin threat that is looming just outside of their borders. But hopefully we can, whip up some fervor and maybe call up some allies as our rider goes out in the morning. Yeah, and then I'm also just looking forward to continuing our quest for Vraft's Keep, which is finally, in stone's throw from our location.
Right, not that far. Less than a day's travel. That
Yeah.
should be, well, with good road conditions if you go that way. Yes. All right. So let us cast our minds out into the realm of the imaginal, right, where we bridge fantasy and decision making and bring it all together in a wonderful collective storytelling experience. Hire me as your GM today. See the link. Uh so yes, we had started off last time with concluding the ambush, right? This terrible ambush by hobgoblin raiders upon our adventuring party. luckily, and with all due skill and aplomb, they defeated the hobgoblins, discovered that the cleric leader among them served the dragon goddess Tiamat. And upon arriving in Drellin's Ferry, also found out that these raids had becoming more frequently than in recent memory, anyway. So you, yes, quickly made contact with the authorities in the town. We can throw up some pictures, right? Jeez, here we go. You met Captain Sovana, yes, Godfrey, very much into the captain of Drellin's town guard. Definitely looks like a woman who can take care of herself, a veteran. And she also sits on the town council, though she tends to basically back up Speaker Whiston, whatever he's doing. She's sort of his right hand. Speaking of which, you guys met the speaker. A man of good stock, right? Aristocratic family, probably going back a couple generations. He's been speaker of the town council for 10 years, and it's been a prosperous time for Drellin's Ferry. Everyone, he does a good job managing the city's affairs, it seems. And so when he made the request for your adventuring party, capable as you seem to be, to venture into the nearby lands, especially along the Dawn Way, the old dwarven highway, to safeguard, make sure the road is safe for merchant caravans, because that is Drellin's uh, lifeblood, is the trade that comes through. Aside from the message you were going to send off to Brindle in the morning, I believe you guys decided you'll send a rider with enough gold to refresh his horses along the way, so he'll make great speed. Swapping new horses at every town along the route. And as Speaker Whiston promised, in the morning you will also get a small cache of magical consumables, right? Magical goods donated by the local artisans to for helping to protect the town, and right, as in memory of what you signed on for, 600 gold apiece will be the reward for safeguarding the road and the town, and right, trying to see what's up, find more about these hobgoblins and stop whatever raiders you can, right? And so that is where we find ourselves, in the midst of this very, very homey, hearthy inn, right, run by Kellen Shadowbanks, this halfling proprietor, who always has this, very good-natured smile going on, and is going around very much doing whatever he can and helping, send his family around, right? He and his family run this establishment to provide you with every comfort. Your rooms have been comped, right, by the city, right, and by Felix's longtime friendship with Kellen. And Kellen is also a member of the town council. Just, again, just for reference, should it be ever become necessary to politic. I need to BRB real quick, but you guys can discuss amongst yourselves your next move.
Well, I was going to ask Zach if you could bring up that map. I was going to ask Zach if you could bring up that. There's a map of the local area, but we have it in our chat in the journal, or no? Yeah, scroll up a little in red hand. There's a map of the Wychwood. So Wrath Keep is where we need to go on there. We're at Drellin's Ferry, and there's kind of like basically you can cut through the woods or just take the road. Oh, there it is. Took a second to load.
Where are we trying to go to?
We are going to Wrath Keep, which is where my ancient mysterious map that started this whole journey points us to. There's supposed to be a unlooted vault there. Um, the X with Jor, I think that's a druid guy who we were recommended to maybe talk to by the speaker. So like the real question is like, do we care enough to divert into the woods to go talk to this guy before we just head straight there? Probably
Well,
yes.
I mean, if there's many goblins about, the woods might be safer than the road.
Oh, yeah. If there's more waiting in ambush.
Right. I mean, do we have word from the townsfolk that the north is safe or is worse?
I think from what they told us last time, it's generally worse. Like normally they're only on the other side of, like on the north side of the river, and it was weird that we found them on the south side of the river.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we take the witch trail north and go there instead of taking the road to Jor. Or do you think we take the road to Jor?
So yes, if you recall, Sovana had told you mentioned Jor, right, as this premier guide to the Wychwood, or at least this region of it. And yeah, she had said the witch trail leads, more directly to his cabin, or it's a shorter route overall, but you're going through, on a path through the forest, right, the whole
Yeah.
time. So it's a little more cut, right? Whereas the other way, right, you're on the Dawn Way for about 9 miles before you have to enter the forest itself.
Right.
Um,
Well, I'm fine just taking the woods straight to this guy.
Sivness is grumpy, but agrees that it is the tactically prudent.
you mean the trail, not just straight through the woods?
Yes, the trail. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, versus the Dawn Way.
right. Well, you could also cut straight through the woods, but
I don't think
so
any
far,
of us are woodsy folk enough to want to try that. Maybe
totally.
if I was a ranger, but my paladin ass is not up for it.
Um, excellent. So Harold, who's been sort of sitting in the corner, sort of, yeah, eating his fill, Sir Godfrey's squire, he's like, "Uh, Sir Witherspoon, like, what are we gonna, should we do something with the money we're gonna get from that armor? Should we shop around a bit before things close for the night, or hit him in the morning? What do you think?
Well, how much gold did we acquire for that ringmail?
Well, we haven't gone around to sell it yet. We
Oh,
only.
well, I guess we should sell it before the night is out. I don't know. I don't feel too drawn to purchasing anything at the particular moment. We've got a bunch of potions, a bunch of scrolls. I've
Well,
got
I could
weapons.
go sell the armor for you, you
Sure,
know,
yeah.
and bring back everything we make.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes without saying, Harold.
Well, I'm
But
just I'm
I
just
appreciate
offering
you
my services.
forcing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Why don't you go barter that, and anything that doesn't need to go into immediate supplies, we'll just donate to the church.
Wow. How generous. I mean, this is going to be hundreds of gold, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, we'll take stock of the financial situation. Look, Harold, we're not you. First of all, I was just about to say we're not paying you to worry about gold, but we're not paying you at all, except for an experience. And your experience here is not to worry about mercantilism. Okay, let me consider the fine matters of the gold. Okay, it's a complicated subject. We're gonna file different forms. Okay, just don't worry about it. You just go sell the ring mail, and
Okay.
you
Okay.
know we'll
I'll be
figure it out
back.
from there.
Make sure you take not a cent less than 350 or 700. How much is it worth?
I guess Sivnus, you do have the keenest eye for these things. 750 would be, the standard buying price.
Got it.
So,
So
or
don't take a
selling price.
copper less than 350.
So no, sorry, it retails for 1,500. So
Got
750
it.
is your expected
Got it.
profit.
So yes, don't take a copper less than that.
Oh, 750. That's a lot of money.
Don't lose it.
Of course not.
Don't drop any.
Harold's
Don't
straightens up. He's like,
dip into any taverns. No wars. No drink. Nothing. Just bring it back, and we'll
Felix,
keep it safe.
you know where all the dangerous spots are, right? I'm not going to run into anything on the way to.
Quick, we have no time for this. Hurry, hurry before the shops close.
All right. So Harold goes off with that heavy armor in his pack, sort of weighing him down. And you point him towards Moreland's forge, where the best local smith. So yeah, he'll come back. And meanwhile, Zillions, who hasn't been really eating because of his automaton body, he's been sort of thinking in the corner. He's like, supposition, were I to take my broom and fly around above the wood, I'd be able to scout out the routes ahead, warn of any dangers.
Unless they shoot you off that broom, can you turn invisible?
I can.
Oh,
Only, for an hour at a time, of course, but
so
that coupled with my small size and my agility.
Just a metagame question here. Is
Yeah.
that a gnome ability or a spell he's casting?
The invisibility?
Yeah.
You
In
don't know.
some
He hasn't.
editions of D&D, I think gnomes
Sure.
can turn invisible on their own. I
No,
didn't know if that was
it's artificer spells.
true. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a gnome thing, so just
Sure.
didn't know.
I am not a normal gnome.
Clearly.
All right. Well, if you all settle in for the evening, Harold returns in about an hour. Why don't Godfrey give me a straight up D20 roll? See how Harold does with his
Sure.
bargaining.
15.
Oh, pretty good. All right, he brings back 800 gold.
Nice. Excellent work, Harold.
Well, he was very pleased to find out, it was gonna be for the people helping the town anyway, right? So,
Yes. You can see how charity begets charity, Harold. You must think on this tonight.
charity begets charity.
This is just
Because
the
the
being
stuff you
oblivious to the
sell.
effect of his charisma score.
And then, yeah, from your elbow comes the small voice. That's because the stuff you sell for me, Felix, not stuff, everyone can sell on the open market.
Mm. Bum, bum, bum.
Anyway, Felix, yeah, he's one of my best, my brightest and best proteges. I've had many in my time here at the Old Barge. Yeah, I don't think you're going in a place where well, our normal business arrangements are going to be of much use. To, and you'll save the town. You become a folk hero. Oh, of course. I mean, the militia's called up. Now we got 130 souls defending our town. Yeah, but you can smell those hobgoblins from a mile away. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. That was Jimmy, but I can send any emojis that I would like. So, like, some swords. Yeah, yeah.
probably a nitro thing.
Yeah, it's me being a nitro. It's my Gen Con emojis from the Gen Con server. Mm. By the way, so you're taking 200 gold from the ring mail because we got 800, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to include zillions in this, which I assume we are. So each of you guys can take, 200 for your personal.
All right. Anything else before the evening passes on?
I'm good.
All right. So the first night in Drellin's Ferry eases your minds and bodies. And in the morning, you feel much refreshed, right? There's the lavender that was put in the wash basins, right? It's just an extra aromatic therapy throughout the night. Um, and of course, the steaming breakfast that Kellen serves is second to none, as far as, well, Drowland's Ferry is concerned, anyway. And as you finish up breakfast, right, the speaker comes in with a small satchel filled with the items he's collected. Like, well, it looks like you all got a fine rest, ready to head out on the Volan adventuring trail.
Yes, today is a blessed day to adventure under the sun, guided by Tyr. So I'm just slamming like eggs and bacon. It's a fantastic breakfast, Kellen.
Well, yeah, certainly, certainly, I would serve nothing below the best.
I tell you,
Especially,
I've been traveling a lot and doing a lot of eating breakfast at inns, and this is definitely above average.
well, I'll take it. Uh, all right, yeah, it does look to be a sunny day, still very warm, right? As we're now 29th of, oh my goodness, there it is. We're now 29th of Kythorn in Forgotten
Classic.
Realms calendar. Um, so we're getting towards the middle heat of summer. And yeah, in the morning, so after you split up the loot, Zillions takes off on his broomstick with his servitors, armored up, right? Offering their extra protection. And he gives you a salute, uh, and he says, I will leave markers along the witch trail with information of anything I find.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, listen for the chimes.
Okay.
Yes,
Are you also leaving chimes?
yes.
Okay.
That's how you'll find the notes.
Interesting. Okay.
Can't just leave them out, in the middle of anywhere to find, right?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So there's a small crowd that sort of gathers, right? The militia who are going out to relieve the shifts of the people who are on current guard duty. Um, and they sort of all escort you onto one of the large barge-like ferries that are tied to ropes that lead us across. Let me go back to Draylen's Ferry. So big barges on ropes that take everyone across. You make it the other side, and the townspeople are like, "Yeah, go get him, and give them what for, and uh, send those hobgoblins back to the hell monsters they serve." Yeah, you know,
Nice. I love a good cheering mob.
all full of this gusto. It's still that's a small portion of the town, but it's enough to
Yeah.
give you a good feeling. Um, And so, yes, as you discussed, you head past the local brewery, right? You can smell the hops and malts all stewing and brewing um, as you head towards the Witch Trail. So let's stop that music and find some. That too peaceful. Yeah, we'll do some adventuring. Yeah, that is too much. All right, so your adventuring party heads off as the sun is rising in higher into the sky, heading straight in to the Wychwood and soon finding the Witch Trail. Right, this very overgrown pathway. Right, it looks like in recent time it's been even used less than in the past. Uh, But I assume you're all still traveling on your horses. Your
Oh yeah.
mounts? Yeah. So even though it is through the woods, right, there's enough of space for your mounts to, trot through without too much of a problem. And so you make good progress up through the forest, and as soon as you sort of pass the outer sort of sparse trees, right, once you start getting into the more denser forest, you feel in here the air is still, and it is just hot and humid, right? The forest here is just trapping in all that humidity and heat. And Godfrey, right, and Harold, who are both wearing, their metal armors, right? You guys are sweating profusely um, from even just a couple hours marching through. the area. Um, and yeah, so it's been a couple hours. You don't notice anything too out of the ordinary, right? Normal signs of animals and things like that. Um, when Sivnus, you hear a tinkle, 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 tinkle.
At the bell.
And hanging from a branch on a nearby tree is, just this small little scroll wrapped up. And what do you do?
I'll mage hand it down.
Oh, all right. So you pluck it off and unwrap it, and it says, "Dead goblins ahead at Trail Fork."
I tell this to the rest of the party.
Huh.
And
Dead goblins.
who's our best at
Well,
scouting? Is it you, Mark?
definitely
Yeah, I
you.
think so.
There's either two possibilities, and certainly only two. Is that these goblins ran into something that was an enemy and is probably a friend to us, or they got attacked by like a bear, and their enemy's not a friend to us. Does anyone here know speak with animals? It's not a spell in my retinue. Oh, okay. Okay, well, you know what? I'll let you give it a shot. So why don't you go ahead and scout, and you see what those corpses are looking like, and if they were stabbed or ripped apart or... Great.
All right. So yeah. So how far are the rest of you staying back?
Well, how far back was the note? We'd stay
Pretty
there.
far back.
Yeah. So the note. Well, I guess on the reverse side of the note, it says 1 mile.
Oh,
Oh. Well, we would stay back, I don't know, maybe like a couple 100 feet. Far enough
well,
that
no,
I
with the
can run up on
horses,
my
we'd
mount.
stay back like 1,000 feet on the horses, like a quarter of a mile. Those horses are really noisy.
5,280.
That's half a mile. Isn't there like 2,000
No,
feet in a
it's a
mile?
quarter of a mile.
Damn. What do I know?
Remember the Titans. That one drilled it into me. Well, there you go. I mean,
Well, if you did, you would know how much is in a mile.
You pick up that ball and run every one of them.
Sure.
All right. Can I have both a stealth check and a perception check?
Oh, Mark, are you trying to persuade the darkness to give up its secrets?
All right. Let's drop everyone down here.
Not helpful.
And then we'll get everyone over here. Oh. Okay. Everyone see themselves?
Yes.
All right. This won't be, of course, representative of your actual distance away, but
Your map doesn't have 1,000 feet for us to hang back.
no, I don't have my my distant range band calibrated. But the forest just looks thinner than it is. Right? It takes a lot more to get through it.
True, true.
All right. So Felix, you're moving up ahead. You feel pretty quiet, though occasionally, right, you brush up against the leaves of a tree, right? This is not your natural milieu, right? You're more of a urban guy. Um, but yeah, you're going around looking. This place is a little spooky, right? It's not called the Wychwood for no reason.
Hmm.
Right, and you hear the sound out of the corner of your ear, and you sort of start and startle, right? You're being cautious, and then you sort of come around this bend in the trees up ahead, and you see the ripped open corpse of a warg.
Oh.
And across the way, you see there's a small stream that's trickling, and you see a goblin that's impaled on a fallen tree limb. And then, as you take one more step forward through the brush, you see a second uh, warg corpse. Uh, and then you hear this crunching sound.
His camera cuts back to Sivnus and me. We're just smoking pipes. Like, I'm sure everything's going fine up there.
Yes, he's young and nimble. He'll be fine. If he needs anything, we'll certainly hear him scream.
Well, you don't see the source of whatever that is yet. Um, Felix. So, oh, what? Oh, my
Hmm.
goodness.
Can't get to a vantage
Why
point.
is there a non-seeable thing here? Are you seeing like a big black line? There we go. Oh, I don't know why that was happening. Yeah. Yeah, don't usually use fog of war. So there we go. All right. Yes. So yeah, what do? You hear this crunching sound, but you're standing there and it doesn't seem to be moving any closer, and it seems to be coming from somewhere in the trees ahead, but you can't tell where, right? It's echoey in here. Sure. Give me an how far do you or how high do you want to climb? I guess. Okay. Well, I guess what I mean more is yeah. Like how high of a vantage do you want to are you looking to get? Okay. Well, I should describe the trees more. So yeah, so there are a lot of these sort of smaller, very large leafed um, trees, and then but the taller ones reach up, uh, probably at least 40 feet. Right, at minimum, you start getting the canopy, right, of the forest. So yeah, halfway, up the trees would probably 20 feet or so would probably get you above the sort of leaf, the more dense foliage in the bottom, um, and sort of able to see, more up into the canopy and around a further distance, I guess. All right. Well, just give me an athletics check. Or don't you? What was your magic item? One of them? Oh, I thought you were. Didn't you get a ring of jumping? All right then. So as you go to make your way up this tree, again, this is not your natural home place, and you grab a rotten dead branch, and it just snaps off the tree in your hand, and you go tumbling down. Luckily, it wasn't too far. You take one damage and land prone. Or no, yeah, land prone. You did roll a one. Um, and then you suddenly hear this blood chilling scream roar. Uh, but more scary, uh, coming from, well, somewhere behind that eastern warg, and you see the foliage of the trees rustling, not in the bottom either, right? Somewhere in the middle foliage, that you sort of climbed above, or we're trying to climb above. But you can roll initiative.
Should we also roll initiative?
Um, being so far away and insulated due to the turns in the path and so forth, I'm gonna say not yet. I guess you
Okay.
can actually everyone
I didn't know if
can
you want us to roll it, and
yeah,
then maybe we're not in the first couple
right,
rounds or
right.
whatever.
That's fair enough. Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Oh boy. Da, da, da. All right. Well, Felix, from the ground, you see the tree, the leaves shaking in the trees as something is moving through them, right? And you see, the impact, right, of a large body, right, on a limb that shakes just all these other limbs in chain reaction, and suddenly jumping down from the trees is a four-armed, tusked monstrosity, claws on each hand, standing well over 8 feet tall, like a massive muscled gorilla.
I'm sure everything's going fine up there.
Friendly. Who knows?
Sivnus, you hear the roar of this beast, because you've got slightly more acute perception, I think, than Sir Godfrey.
I'm going to look at Sir Godfrey and say, "You think that's a good roar?"
I'm gonna guess not.
Then charge, good fellow, charge.
I
Instead of
hope
messing
True
with the
Silva
power.
away. I charge
All
off.
right. Well, it is the Girallan which acts first. Felix, you familiar with this kind of creature? You ever heard one of these before? Sure. This specifically. Yeah. Yes, you've heard a lot about Gorallons. They are, yeah, fearsome, territorial, aggressive alpha predators. Uh, yeah, not something you generally want to tangle with, and not something you want to tangle with alone. Uh, and good point, because this thing immediately just rushes on all fours, right? Propel, or all six, right? Because it's got two legs as well as four arms, propelling itself forward, churning up the dirt. Uh, and he comes at. What is your current AC? What are we looking at here?
He's a flesh, which is a scratch. Oh, this is the new HP
Wow,
rolls. Those are actually bad. Never mind.
20 or higher. Uh, yeah. So yeah, and so he just starts ripping at you, wailing on you with his claws. Let's see. So let's see. That's one, two, three. So that's 8 damage total coming in uh, from
That's
all those
so much,
hits.
especially in
Yeah.
this system. That's so much.
Um, and yes, you feel bloody, right? This is exactly the kind of thing you didn't want to run into in the middle of a forest.
No kidding.
And we'll see what happens. Godfrey, you sense your companion is in trouble, but riding through this tight forest trails is going to take some riding skill to do it
Sure,
at speed.
I can
Um,
imagine.
so let's get an animal handling check.
Oh boy, a skill I wish I had trained in.
Or actually, well, again, your steed is intelligent. So, hmm.
Does he just make a dexterity check on his own?
Yeah, why don't
Or
he
maybe assisted as we operate in tandem.
sure. Either you can make a handle animal or he can make True Silver can make a dexterity check assisted by the other.
He probably has a better dexterity bonus than I have an animal handling bonus. So
That's up to you.
let's
Uh
do it that way.
don't forget, do you have any bonus action buffs or anything to throw up as you're riding?
I don't think I have any. I don't think any paladin spells buff checks like this. I don't have
Well,
like
I'm
aid.
talking about in general. If you're gonna, put any buffs
Oh,
on
you mean like
yourself,
for
prepare
the
for the fight.
upcoming fight? I
Yeah.
got you. Oh, because like okay, I figured I'd have to spend my whole turn riding. Well, no one's in range for a bless.
Well,
Uh,
you True Silver and Cygnus are.
oh, am I still in range with Sivness? Is he like
Well, I
riding with
said
me?
again, as a bonus action, you could have done it as you're leaving, right? Bless everyone with
Sure.
tears.
Okay. Yeah, I throw a quick like all power praise to the mighty tier and give a high five to Sivness before I ride off. So yeah, I'll throw a bless on the three of us.
Wow, Tier's
Uh,
gonna have to have a word with you about your prayers. Uh,
what? That was a great prayer. He loves
oh,
it short and sweet. All right, and here's True Silver's dexterity, 14.
nice. Uh, I'll say, yeah, I'll say that's enough to charge through the brush and moving from you are at distant range and on a
Mm-hmm.
mount you're taking double move, so you move into mid range.
Okay.
Uh
So I'm like in sight of them.
Well,
Maybe like covered by a lot of jungle.
Yeah,
like,
you can sort of see the movements, right, of this massive beast through the trees, right up ahead. And True Silver, also whinnies and stiffens, right, as he's smelling the blood of the spilled blood of the other creatures, uh, and feeling the danger of this predator, for sure.
well, as I see the massive beast, I'm just gonna, pull my lance out and get it at the ready for my next turn.
Absolutely. Nice. All right, that brings us to Sivnus. So you are also at distant range. You see Godfrey go charging off right along the path, but you soon lose him, amid the trees, and you're left with Harold, and the two horse, or the other horse. Harold is Felix's horse. Right,
Yeah, Cygnus is not an expert rider, so he's going to take a more measured approach.
All right.
And then when he can see the monster, he'll cast a spell at it.
So yeah, you wouldn't be able, unless you ride hard. You won't be able to.
That's fine. It doesn't have to happen this turn.
Okay. Do you want to cast any other spells in the meantime?
No. Nope.
All right. So Sivnus is just taking his time, riding along.
He's taking his time. He just understands his limit as an equestrian and is being prudent about his riding.
Sure. Harold will stay with you, but slightly ahead of you.
Perfect.
Because he's a better rider. And he's like, I gotta stay. I gotta stay up with Sir Wyvernspur. He might need me. And as you hear Felix from the ground, you're staggering back as you were beaten at the base of this tree. You hear the thud of True Silver's hooves and the shining spear glinting through the trees. Right, you see the approach of Sir Wyvernspur, but will it be soon enough? All right. Cunning action to disengage? Or was that your... Nice. All right, so you can move up to close range, basically, halfway between you and Godfrey somewhere, unless you want to move. Yeah, if you're moving more into the woods, right, that's going to slow your pace, but also you could hide, potentially. Sure. All right, so the beast claws after you, but you're too dexterous. Um, Remember, you can drink potions as a bonus action too, but I guess you already used it, just to remind everybody, should they need them. And that brings us back to the beast, who leaps up into the trees, right? Just does this massive leap up into the limbs and starts climbing with all his arms at once, moving very quickly towards the fleeing Felix. And this time it jumps down and uses a different ability. Brutal toss. Oh no, it needs to grapple you first, right? Make an athletics or acrobatics check, Felix. Cool. Tie goes to the attacker. So you're so slippery, right? You're trying to just roll and duck and dodge and use the natural terrain to get out of reach, but one of its hands just manages to grab your ankle and it pulls you up and then just throws you backward. Make a yeah. Make a dexterity saving throw. Well, until you hit something. All right. So you are able to that is also you do better than just ignore some of the damage because of that severity. Let's see. So you got no. So you were able to avoid that. You only take 1 damage instead of half or 6. So that's nice. So you sort of flying through the air, you start using your acrobatic prowess to sort of control your fall, right? You clip the side of a tree, but avoid, smacking right into it. And so you skid to a stop, your hand on the ground, panting, but you stand there facing the creature, not in a worse position, for sure. And it stamps on the ground with its fists, like angrily, seeing how you got away, or weren't impaled like that other goblin. And then it hears the charge coming from down the path from Sir Godfrey. It's your turn.
Oh, that means I'm up. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Well, lance out, true silver charge. I think we're just gonna roll into this with like a smite, like a blessed smite.
Well, you don't have to smite until you hit.
I'm
But,
just stating my
He's-
intentions,
he's
but
got
you're
it.
right.
It
Good to know.
is part of my rules, I guess.
I also get 2 attacks.
Yep.
Which is just part of being a broken paladin. So I love that. So can I reach him?
Yeah.
With
yeah.
the move? Okay, great.
With a single move. Remember,
All right,
you
here
can
we
attack
go.
from reach. Keep him a little.
That's a good point. Yes, I will attack from. Does my mounted combat thing allow me to continue moving after the attack too? Or
the whole system allows you to continue moving.
Okay,
However, because he's sort of blocking the path, you'd have to go into the forest to move around him without incurring any hairy damage or anything.
sure. Okay, well we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Let's roll some attacks. All right,
Let's roll some
so
attacks.
all right, bless it. Let me check on my bless. Boom, lance. Boom. 25. Let's go.
All right. That is for sure plus that's 10, more than 10, higher than his AC, so that is plus 2 damage and a major consequence.
Okay, so it's just getting plus 2 damage for being like way above his AC, right?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna drop a level 2 smite. So how much does that add?
That will add 3 more radiant damage.
Excellent. And then the lance itself does 3
3
damage on its own.
So it's 5 for the lance plus 3 for the smite. 8 total coming in, right? So you come
I
out.
returned the 8 damage for you, Felix.
There you go.
So I just come in, eyes are glowing with radiant, with being blessed, slam my holy lance into him, and then oh my god, I can just make another attack. What a world. And then I'll just do that. So It did. It really doesn't.
Feel
There
like
has
Mary
a
here.
10.
But the
For that
second
one.
time, right, it was ready for your thrust, and its hands beat away, right, the shaft.
I think I'm just moving too fast to get a second attack off at a reasonable pace because
Fair
I'm going
enough.
to peel off into the jungle here as far as I can, and then basically
All right.
like try and 180 to prepare for either if he charges at me or to go back at him.
Right. Well, that might definitely need some sort of check, right? Stomping through
Okay.
on your next turn, but
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
to maneuver. All right. So Sivnus, you hear, right, and Felix, you see,
Yeah,
right, this
so what
thunderous
Sivnus
charge.
wants to do, he kind of gets a sense of what's going on,
Mhm.
and as soon as he gets the smallest glimpse of what this thing could be, he is going to magic missile it.
For sure. Level 1 magic missile.
Level 1 magic missile.
All righty.
Pew pew
Yes.
pew.
So you guys, yeah, basically move here, and because it moved up along the path, right, you catch at the outline, right, the crimson splatter of blood, right, on the leaves nearby. um and yeah, three missiles hone in on their target. One, two, three. And you can, this thing is now reeling. You can tell, in pain and agony, not expecting the devastating charge followed by the magical assault. Anything
Uh,
else?
yes, Sivnus is going to say, Harold, always protect the wizard. Stay between the monster and me.
Oh, good to know. I'll move up a little bit. All right, there we go. Uh, all right. Well, that returns us to Felix. Injured as you are, you can also see this thing is close to death as well. All right. Yep. There you go. As usual, right? Your main thrust is just to throw off your enemy. And that deals, unfortunately, yes, there is no technical sneak attack, but you also deal +2 damage uh, from the severity, and that, in addition, right, just you carve up into its viscera, right, hit through, uh, and it collapses in this, pained, gurgling cry and thuds at your feet. Another kill steal.
Sivnus is gonna he'll hear like some death cry and say, "Is it dead? You sure there aren't any more of them?"
Felix, you remember they are solitary, pretty solitary creatures, so you think you're safe.
All right, he'll come up.
It's no wonder that the goblins were disposed of. They would be no match for this creature. But the good thing that you had a mighty warrior with you.
Yeah, looks like it ran into you.
Oh, good one, Harold. Oh, of course. I mean, what good is a scout if they're dead? You know, you're just there to scout the danger, and then once we find the danger, then we rush in heroically. So,
It's
now
called
that we have
tactics.
dispensed, yeah, tactics. Now that we have dispensed of said danger, why don't we take a look at these goblin corpses and see if there's anything we can learn about them? Like maybe they are in league with the hobgoblins who attacked us. So I'll go investigate the corpses.
Absolutely. Roll me an investigation check. As you walk up, or do you dismount, while you're searching and so forth?
Yeah, I'll dismount and like investigate the battle scene, or what. I not much of a battle with these goblins, I
Yeah.
imagine.
No, you could tell one of these wargs and the goblin that was riding it was just crushed
Mm.
by this thing when it must have jumped on top of them in ambush. And then, one of the goblins, yeah, was thrown, ripped off the other warg, probably thrown and impaled over there. Uh, and then
Wow!
the other
Imagine
warg.
being thrown with such force that you were impaled on a tree branch. It's very, very tense.
Well, that thing definitely wasn't. Yeah,
Well, at least the good thing there wasn't any spiky tree branches behind you.
more like good thing he's so dexterous. Yeah. All
So
right.
yeah,
So
any notes or anything on
did
their
did you
person?
roll and investigate?
No, I didn't, but I can do that.
I mean, just you can find the basics, but we'll see if.
Sure.
Yeah. So definitely the wargs. They seem to have been the primary like feasting target of this creature.
I'm not such a hot investigator.
No, but luckily your investigations, you went right over to where you needed to be. The goblin impaled on this thing has a small, dirty satchel, hanging from its loincloth. Um, and you pull it out and notice a folded piece of animal hide that has been, written on in goblin.
Uh, Hang on. Literal checks notes moment. I don't think I speak Goblin. Anyone here speak Goblin?
I believe Sivnis does. Let me check.
Uh, our most learned hedge wizard, if you could translate this note for us.
Yes, he does indeed speak Goblin,
Hmm.
and presumably reads it and writes it as well.
Well, where did you, as you come up, in your glory of your knowledge, right? Where did you, or why did you learn Goblin? Where did Sibnis pick up Goblin?
Um, Goblin-ish has the best curse words, and so
Oh,
all of the little shits at the college, you know, swear
hmm.
in Goblin all the time, and Sivnis must know his enemy, which is the
Wow.
students, not the goblins.
Yeah, I got that. Wow. Okay. Well, with his thoughts again made clear about the people he teaches, Sivnis strides forward, looks down at the scribblings, and you parse out the following. I'll just put it in general chat so everyone can see it.
Okay. I'll read for our listeners at home. roam the wood, killing what pinkskins you can. Ensure the road to the bridge stays open. Report to the keep in a quarter moon with any new. I presume he means news, but these goblins aren't good writers. Or maybe he died while he was writing it.
Maybe it's new information.
Is the bottom of the paper splayed with blood?
No, it just looks like
Okay.
this was a small thing folded up. It looks like it reached the
Okay.
end of the page,
He ran
They
out
just
on this
gave up
to
no
count.
room.
goblins. I would have failed them if they're in their goblin language class for this drivel, have you know. Can't even write their own language.
Well, this doesn't prove much other than that we are in fact dealing with, an organized horde if these people are getting like written orders.
But we were going to go.
Good point.
Or that's their invasion route, and when they say the keep, is that the keep we're going towards? Are there any other keeps in this area?
Can you bring up the local map again?
Yes, we can go head there.
Yeah, so I'm sure they mean Wrath Keep, right? Like that's what makes sense.
Oh, yeah. You're basically at this like junction here where this trail split. Yeah.
Yes.
I lead with Sir Joffrey because having everyone there is company. It's his adventuring party, and
So right, so the bridge is Drellin's ferry, right? So they're basically saying make sure the
No,
road between
that's a ferry. It would have to be the Skull Gorge Bridge, right?
the Skull
So,
Gorge Bridge. That
which is north, right? Like, do they have
yeah.
reinforcements coming from the north?
Oh my god. Sivnus, I know you're a
you guys
fireball man.
discussed, I'm going to BRB.
Okay. Sivnus, being a fireball man, I gotta ask. Do you feel like we could blow up this bridge? It looks pretty big on the map.
Well, if it is made of stone, that will be difficult. If it is made of wood, it is possible.
Mm. We
But
do have
how much?
a gnomish artificer in our companion.
Yeah, I just wonder though how much destroy. I'm not familiar with this bridge. I don't think.
So, I mean, I'll just tell you what I know. We can say for sure that it's an important bridge because the Dawn Way is like the main trade road that runs through the entire valley.
Yeah, we
So
can't
blowing it
blow up
up
this
would be
bridge.
it would be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, we can't.
But
blow this bridge.
also, I'm a paladin. Which, yeah, exactly
Well,
right. As a paladin, I
can't
can
they
say that
just
blowing
like?
up a bridge is better.
Yeah, but what if they just like ford the river, right? Like the thing is that the bridge just lets
Cool.
them go quicker.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't.
presumably they have like an army with like equipment and like siege and like yeah,
We're thinking. I mean,
logistics.
sure. And I think the bridge will slow them down, but but there are a few problems with that. One, we need to get there, and it's far. Two, the keep containing presumably multitudes of our enemies is directly between it and the bridge.
You see, you're missing step one of this plan, which is first we're gonna go raid the keep and drive our enemies before us. Yes, and sack
Got
them
it.
and then get the vault.
Did we anticipate it to be like full of hobgoblins?
No, I was actually told that it would be empty.
Yeah, I mean, I was like thinking maybe like a mimic or something, maybe a weird mirror that like sends you to an alternate dimension. That's kind of what I
I
was
know,
thinking. I
right?
wasn't thinking literally an army of hobgoblins.
But what a glorious stroke of good luck
Mm.
that we find such that our enemies have gathered all in one place for us to slay.
It's true. If they were all in a great hall and then we're listening to a speech, like a series of fireballs would be glorious.
Exactly. I imagine that this is really the time where Fireball is about to shine.
Hmm.
But it sounds like if they're bringing in forces from there, like they're probably gonna probably trying to amass forces at the keep before like attacking the town.
Right. Or the whole area.
Yeah, it's super close.
Well,
And then
but I
there's
think
also this old forest road, which probably leads somewhere important as well.
my thought, though, is that if they have heavy equipment in a logistics perspective, crossing the Elsier River is going to be difficult. And I think defending the river, especially when the population center at Drellin's Ferry, will be fairly easily defensible. But I do think that we need to tell, like, can we send somebody like, I don't know, our flying gnome guy back and tell them to reinforce Drellin's Ferry? Maybe they know. Maybe that won't be
I mean,
helpful.
we told them that's what we did when we
Got
were
it.
there. We
Okay.
were like, you guys need to reinforce. Yeah.
Yeah, but did we say like an army is likely coming from the north? Prepare for that.
Basically.
Okay. Because didn't we come from the east or the west?
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
came
we
from the
came from
east,
the
right?
east on this map. Yeah.
And we crossed the ferry.
Yes, we just crossed the ferry this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But there were hobgoblins on that side of the river, so like small bands of them can just cross the river on their own.
That's true.
Yeah, right. I think at this point, what we need to bring Drellin's ferry is like intel. Like they are already warned. I think we need to bring them like evidence and or like numbers. Like we could like if we show up to the keep and we're like, okay, there's like 100 hobgoblins here. This is like an adventurer level problem. If we show up to the keep and there's like 1,000 hobgoblins there, we're like in real trouble. And I don't know which is going to be the scenario when we get there. So I feel like we get that level of intel, maybe do a small raid on the keep, and then from there we sort of come up with an action plan of either like go back to Drellin's Ferry or maybe scout a little more to the north if we feel like it's safe to do so. Right. Yeah. Right. If we get in there and there's 500 guys, maybe we could like, yeah, explode their barn or like, yeah, do some shenanigans. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Harold and I are literally one percenters.
All right, good discussion
Yeah,
going on.
lots going on here.
Yeah. Um, so just to confirm some points, Skull Gorge Bridge, yes, is a big stone dwarven bridge.
Mm,
But it does cross a gorge, which is a lot harder to cross than just fording a river.
right.
So taking, or that bridge is definitely as Felix pointed out, critical infrastructure. Um, Vrath Keep, right? yes, potential place, right? That could be the keep they're talking about in the note. Wrathkeep also is has sort of a watch point over the Dawn Way, right? So it's also a good place to watch and guard or carry, right, the road,
Interesting. Yeah.
depending on who holds it, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's I think that's
Cool.
it. Any other questions or anything?
Do we know if the old Old Forest Road leads anywhere important?
Um, you think? Well, we can.
Have to go out to the bigger map, I guess.
Yeah, we can pop out the
Because just because the fortress is also on that road, so if that goes somewhere like towards like
Yeah, this is too
Terrell,
big.
too big, yeah.
Let me. I think it leads more up towards Restilor, right? Or what used to be Restilor,
Oh, okay. Like it's an old kingdom road.
right?
Yeah.
But Restilor, it's not even nearly as nice as the Dwarf Road, right? Which is much
Right.
older.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not like a huge problem. Okay. All right. Well, I would. Oh, sure.
Right. Remember short rests, 10 minutes, or if you want to use consumables.
Um, I wanted to ask you while we're on the topic of resting, when we long rest, what is the healing situation there? Because we did an
So,
overnight.
well, you had what's called a full rest, um, which because you were like in a town in a safe
Mhm.
bed, everything
Yep.
like that. So basically, on a full rest, you get everything back. Um, yep. Yeah. On a So that's a full rest. On a long rest, which is like the normal sort of 8-hour period, um, you regain half your hit dice, uh, but you don't regain. Let me just see. Pull up the page here. Let's see. Long rest. Okay. Yeah. So long rests don't give you unlike 5e, don't give you the full just free hit point restore.
Hmm.
Basically, yeah. The first 4 hours of a long rest, after that elapses, you get half your hit dice pool back, which is normal for rest. And then the second sort of 4 hours, you refresh is when you refresh all your long rest cooldowns and things like that, and prepare your spells.
Yep. Yeah. If you need a few more to top off, I can also hit you with the lay on hands.
No, it's actually a straight bonus. Um, for the hit dice. So it's just basically two hit points per hit die.
2 hit points per hit die, and you get
So
your Constitution bonus only once.
right, but I think you have a zero bonus, right? So but yeah, basically for Felix, two hit points per die. Don't forget, you also picked up a bunch of potions from those the hobgoblins.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You got it. That leaves me with one left, just FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah. One is enough to revive somebody from 0. So
Sivnus, have you been doing anything during these 10 minutes? Well, they've been healing Felix and.
Do you see what I just put in chat? TLDR.
Oh,
He is going to
Oh.
find his familiar
nice, good call.
nice.
of a hawk, which I cannot seem to drag on, but
Uh,
Ha!
well, actually, you don't want the hawk. I'll find you a hawk. Magic hawk. Or the ebon hawk. Control by Sivnus. Okay, we got a hawk. Cool. So Sivnus summons this hawk spirit who flies down right out of the canopy, but has this distinctive glow before he sort of settles down, and then looks more like a normal hawk, except for his eyes, right? They have this distinct kind of bluish glow.
I thank you.
It is no bird, but some sort of arcane spirit.
So it is a fey creature.
I eye the bird suspiciously.
The
It's
bird
like your
sort of looks at
horse.
you in
It's a
cause.
Ravenspur.
It's nothing at all like true silver. You're completely mistaken, Harold. We'll have to have a discussion about this later tonight.
Damn it. I really can. Come on, Harold.
All right. Well, with our breath caught after a short rest, should we carry on towards Jor?
All right. So you continue on down the witch trail. Now, it's past midday by the time you reach, well, what seems to be Jor's cabin. Oh, that away. Everybody. Man, I gotta change that music. So, yes, following the track of this dream on Earth, there this fog of war stuff. Apologies, everyone. There we go. All right. So, y'all ride up. You're along this stream. And suddenly the baying of hounds can be heard as 3 large hunting dogs, right, charge up from behind this small cabin in the forest here. But they all, they come to the sort of edge of the area, and sort of stand still, just barking at you. Brr, 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 brr.
Cygnus will mage them and pet them, and then give them like dried meat.
Oh, all right. Could I have a handle animaling check?
No, I'm just this isn't that. I'm just giving them meat because they're good boys.
That's true. All right.
Yeah, I'm just giving them meat.
Well, they.
All right, I'll roll a check if you want me to.
Well, this is just to see how well they might react to you with advantage. There you go. Right, and your instincts were correct because these dogs absolutely loved this meat, and then they start chomping on it and fighting over it, and they sort of back up a little, and you hear a slat, turn aside at the cabin, and you hear a voice call out, "What do you want?"
It's a great question, guys. What do we want? We are but travelers, adventurers, yes, in your lands, and we seek only some information. Yes.
Druids. You find no druids here.
Really just woodsy folk we're looking for. A bit urban, you might say. What did he say? Sorry.
You don't say that
Yeah.
about the wisdom.
No, we do say.
If you please, dismount and you can come across the bridge. Just don't mind the dogs. Just, well, I appreciate the offering you already made. And the slat closes, and then you hear, as various locks and bolts and bars are being thrown aside.
Mm.
And this fellow steps out.
Tom Bombadil's here, bro.
Tom Bombadil carries no weapons.
And his boots. This guy's boots are red. Never mind.
So
he just opens the door. We're like, "Hey, you're not Tom Bombadil. Get out of here."
What's her name? Gold Moon? Where's Gold Moon?
Goldberry.
Goldberry, thank you.
Jordan Atherson and his 3 dogs here.
And you can see he has this very finely made crossbow that he got loaded and cocked, right? He's got it hefted at you, so he's not pointed, but he's like, "So what does it say you want? You want my wisdom?" You mean you want to hire me as a guide?
Well, would you be able to take us safely on a scouting expedition to look around. Wrath's Keep.
Sure could, but there have been so many goblins ranging around these parts that maybe they maybe hold up around there. That's dangerous territory. That might cost a
Well,
little extra.
well, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we're meaning to find out if that's where they're holed up.
Yeah, we
What's
need to.
what's your price?
Well, for the dangerous stuff, 10 a day. That's 10 gold lions a day.
Do the coins in our pockets have golden lions on them?
Yes, that's the local coinage from Brindle. Is the
Oh,
golden lion.
10 gold a day. I look at you guys and say, I don't know if we can swing this.
I mean,
But
we're less than a day from there, so like,
we're
God, you're so bad at this. Fine, you have 10 gold.
but you say you want to fight goblins though.
We would
certainly not a
prefer
fan.
to, yeah, we would prefer to not fight the goblins.
Oh, you already.
We mostly want to avoid them.
No, that's
I
not true. Don't listen to Sivness. We definitely want to fight them.
Well, no, we
We don't
want
want to
to
get
kill
killed
them.
by them. We don't want to fight them in a
What?
I'm
stupid way.
gonna be right back. Call of nature. While you guys discuss this amongst yourselves, okay?
Sivness,
Yeah,
what are you saying? You don't want to fight goblins?
no, we just want to kill them. Yeah.
This is a distinction
Uh,
without a difference.
I guess that's fair for a paladin. Yeah, Civ just wants them all to just die for very little, with no personal risk.
Well, that's why you'll be in the back line. But I mean, I agree with Felix that we should try and, engage in subterfuge and like, I'm imagining this more as like a raid on their encampment and less as like, a kicking down the door and burning of their encampment. We should ask this guy when Zach gets back what, like, we know that there's Gorallons in these woods, but like, if there's just any other big spooky monsters we should generally be aware of.
So is this guy actually a druid?
No,
Did
he's
we
the.
just assume he
I
was a
think
druid?
no, I think we were confusing him with the guy Zach mentioned, who we could have used to send an
Oh,
animal messenger.
got
But
it.
I think, yeah, these are different people, though. This guy's just like a tracker who
He's a ranger.
the townsfolk. I don't think he's a ranger. I think he's just like a woodsy guy.
Hmm.
I mean, it's so complicated. Like, he is definitely not an archetypal ranger. I also don't think he has ranger levels. But if you could have ranger levels and be flavored as this guy, which is what makes it complicated.
Maybe he's a fighter who's just good at tracking. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, sure. This is
Okay.
he's got Cleric of Obad High written all over him. It's so much fun. It's really just playing the game on easy mode. Like, right. And not only did that basically cost me nothing to do, and I don't have to make the call until I do the hit. I also, because of my lance and my mounted thing, I can just do it without even getting into like real melee range. Right. Right. Put
Have
it
you
on a
been
guy
playing
who also has a magic horse.
Have you been playing Baldur's Gate, Mark? Okay, it's like super duper duper good.
I just started it back up since I finished Bloodborne.
So like, no spoilers. The second act, a lot of undead.
Oh my god,
And
there's undead in this game? What the
I know,
fuck?
right? And like a lot of them, like real undead heavy.
Yeah.
And my light domain cleric, like, it's just,
You just lulled your way through.
which you just like spirit guardians, and you just like you just walk through them, and they just fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get some items that do extra radiant damage, and then some things like it's just
Spirit Guardians
it's
do be
just,
good.
I know it's just easy mode. I had forgotten just how good like Toman was as a as a D&D character until I played this guy, and I was like, wow, you're fucking OP. Imagine if you had like them and a paladin.
I
Snap.
respect the Githyanki girl to be a paladin.
Paladin.
Because she just has paladin written all over her. She's way too much of a righteous asshole to just be a fighter. Mm. Yeah, it's a good game to play when you find somewhere to squirrel away a big chunk of time.
Are you coming down?
Hmm. Yeah, sure does. Well, we're just having a session 0. What do you got to prep? Just give yourself some extra lead time. Yeah. No, it's a simple system. Part of the appeal. Nice. Mm. I'm
Did you
really
guys see that?
enjoying being a DM who doesn't have to prep stuff right now. Yeah, right. And I am only doing those once a month, so I have like a shitload of lead time.
Have you guys seen the Valve documentary?
Not yet.
No, I think I was gonna watch it tonight. Maybe we'll see. Yeah.
At the end, do they announce Half-Life 3?
No.
Yeah. See, the big controversy is they delisted Half-Life Source. They did. You can no longer get it. You just have it in your library if you had it. It's truly like the redheaded stepchild of the Half-Life games now.
Was that a community thing?
No, Half-Life Source came out in the run-up to Half-Life 2, like I want to say like 4 or 5 months before Half-Life 2 came out. And the only difference between it and Half-Life 1 is that the body is like ragdoll basically, and it has like some physics stuff. But then also like because it was like on the source engine, like updating it or doing anything to it was like an entirely separate pipeline, and they never did that. So it actually fell like weirdly behind what the actual Half-Life was, as Half-Life keeps getting occasional tiny little patches and stuff. Oh yeah, yes. I actually played that demo like way back in the day. Mm. Yeah, you have to actually like shoot a guy. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-mm. Are you back, Zach?
I am back. Yes. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Oh,
you.
oh, okay.
We had a question for this
Yes.
guy, which is are there we ran into a Goralin on the way here. Are you aware of any other particularly large creepy crawlies we should be just like on the lookout for while we're in these woods?
If I told you of the things that are in these woods, it'd melt the hair off your skull.
Well, that seems a little extreme, but
You ever heard of a gray render boy?
a gray render. Can't say that I have.
Mm, old monster, ancient by some reckoning. Just wanders around, solitary, producing its own young on its own, just to consume and eat and tear.
Well,
Mouth that can rip you in half.
sounds awful.
Yeah,
If we pay you, we won't encounter those, right?
exactly.
Now wait a second. When you put it that way, it starts to sound a little scammy.
Maybe you have to show us the terrible monster so we believe you're just not making it up. I don't know.
I'd
Yeah, but the
rather
whole
not.
point is we don't want it.
Why no? Maybe we could like send our what's it
This
called?
is why you pay for a guide. It's insurance. It's exactly like insurance. Sometimes the
Right.
bad things happen, but most of the time we keep you safe.
We give you 10 gold and you take us where we want to go. Sounds like a wonderful transaction.
Per day.
Per day, sure.
And well, if we happen to find ourselves tussling with a few of these wretched goblin types, well, maybe we'll knock a day's pay off here or there. So you
All right.
think, yeah, you think they're holed up in the old Wrath Keep, don't you? Hmm. Mm. Can I see it?
We show him the note.
Well, yeah, it's plain. No other place they would call keep, I imagine, unless there's some underground festering hellhole they got buried under here. But nah, it's too swampy in this part of the Wychwood. Oh, you didn't say you said hobgoblins now. Mm. Now we got both hobgoblins and goblins to deal with. Boy, wow, what a day. What a day. Hmm. He seems to be heavily, petting his crossbow. Uh, as he's just sort of staring off. Well, I suppose if we head back towards the Dawn Way, up over, the river crossing, get to the keep, no problem. But of course, we won't approach the keep once we get close. Either sneaking up around the back and doing some climbing, or somehow disguising our approach, because no doubt they watch the main path up, or I would, but maybe not. They're all gone. Say you don't go up to a keep by the front door, if you expect trouble. So, well, I suppose might be able to get there rest of the day. Well, only if you really cross country. No, no, no. Oh no, we have the Blackwater. We gotta go around the Blackwater. Come back to the map here. So yeah, he indicates this marshy sort of area here. That's what they call the Blackwater. Yes, Finn. Mm, it would be a long way around, going up the Witch Trail and then down the old forest road. Get to keep Dawnway would be much quicker, but well, pass through the Blackwater ain't so bad if you don't mind the smell.
Well, sure. Whatever you recommend, Mister Jor.
Well, howdy ho then. Uh, all right. So you spend the sort of rest of the early afternoon, right, uh, making your way along the forest path in this southern part of the Witchwood. And true to his word, right, Jor seems to take you off the trail a few times, in still places wide enough for you to take your mounts. He's on foot. He's keeping pace. Not that you're riding swiftly, right? You're not galloping or anything. But he's so easily able to just move in and out of the foliage and brush. Um, Occasionally, you might lose sight of him, but for a minute even. And when you just start to get worried, he appears from around a tree, and he's like, "All right, so just making sure everything's kosher up ahead." And finally, you emerge on back onto the Dawn Way, right? All the way over here. Uh, and it's probably getting around 4 p.m. But sunset, this time of summer probably doesn't happen till 7 or so. So you still got some daylight. So, but you have to cross that section of the fens. So basically, George's like, so we could either, camp here, or we can push across, try to make our way across the fens and camp on the side yonder. But of course, this side be safer from patrols. Other side, of course, is closer. Depending, unless you want to do a night assault. What are you thinking? And he looks around at all of you, and he's like, but none of y'all can see in the dark, and all goblins can see in the dark. What are you gonna do?
This is a good point.
Let's continue. Yeah, I mean, let's continue on and go a reasonable distance, and then we'll camp.
All
You
right, you
know, of
want
a
to push
secure and
across?
secluded spot.
Sure. All right, so you start making your way. The dwarf road um, starts cutting across this ground that becomes just more and more swampy, more and more marshy. Trees start to thin out, and eventually they're pretty sparse, uh, overhanging kind of willows, right? So they still provide like sort of a lot of sight coverage as you're making your way along the road. Um, uh, that baby noise. Oh, Bill. Make sure we got everybody. All right, it might be okay. It might be okay. All right. So as you sort of reach now, it's 6 o'clock, so dusk is settling in. The light of the sun, right, sort of cuts out a little early because of the worm smoke mountains, right, and you can see while that smoke is rising, giving the sunlight an extra orangey haze as it splashes across the Wychwood. All right. And you guys come to a deeper part of the marshes um, that are starting out, and a bridge, uh, not a bridge, like the the highway, right? The stone sort of highway starts turning into wooden, a sturdy wooden um, causeway. All right, so and Jorah's like, I smell goblin. dead goblin. It's good. No, they like to keep to the trees. They climbers. And so you look ahead, and a wide expanse of dark water has flooded this woodland in this low valley. Trees protrude from the calm, dark waters here and there, but many large reaches and rushes seem to be little more than open ponds of algae-choked water. The trill of frogs and the whine of insects fills the air. The forest road leads right down to the edge of this flooded section, up to this rickety-looking causeway made of thick planks lashed together with mossy rope. The wooden causeway runs for several hundred feet through a boggy patch, only a foot or so above the water. And so as you make your way down it, right, the boards are, slightly creaky. Again, they're old, but they're still solid. And ahead you can make out the wreckage of a wagon lying on its side and half sunk in the flooded forest, about 30 feet from the causeway. I'm going to move us folks over here. And as you start, walking more on the causeway, it seems Harold's like, maybe we should lead the mounts. That it's the extra weight of a rider on this thing might not hold.
What does Jor think?
Well, it's been a long while since I've been on a big amount such as that. A fine steed of yours, and these other. Well, yeah, it's probably not best, especially if we want to stay close together.
All right. Well, we can go like single file or one at a time or whatever is best.
All right. Well, Jor looks out, and so he's says, "Look, that's pretty new. That might have been that goblin I was smelling over there in that wreckage." Um, However, as you're looking right in the dim light, you see a serpentine head sort of lying, on top of this wagon wreckage. It's sort of fins all collapsed, so just almost like an eel lying atop uh, this wreckage here. And suddenly, its eyes snap to you and disappears into the water.
Something eat him?
No. This was a site you guys were seeing sort of over. So there's this wagon wreckage, and there was this sort of serpentine like head
Oh, I got it.
that was laying near it, right, or on top of it, and it has now retreated into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see it gets, some sections get gradually deeper the further you go out, but sometimes it's hard to say when you step.
Yeah. All right, Felix, great work. Okay.
Uh, well, you're gonna lead your mount, or Harold could lead a train of them at the back. This will be just an animal handling to, I think, guide it uh, quickly enough, but also, not, yeah. Yeah. So you start leading your horse out, and as it approaches the sort of center of this area, where sort of the deepest area, it starts, it starts neighing and whinnying back and almost rearing. Uh, and but you're able to keep a hold on it and back up a few steps as a horrific sight explodes out of the water. 6 serpentine heads intertwining around from underneath the causeway start snapping.
That's bad.
Yeah. Okay. So you try to send your horse across, and yeah, and with that handle animal check, you do it really well, and it zooms across faster than, well, these heads seem to be able to react. Uh, However, I need everyone else to roll initiative. And not
What's
that you
that?
see its whole body, but you know,
Oh shit.
this is what we got going on, of course. Godfrey, as you see, right, these heads start to writhe and snap. You see they're not separate creatures, but they are too coordinated, and you recognize this from your adventuring as a dreaded Hydra.
Oh my god.
All right, I need my initiative turn. All right, well, oh, I didn't roll for it. Silly. All right, and Jor is like, "What in tarnation? I've never seen such a beast come this close." You fellas attract a lot of trouble. I'm guessing. But Felix, you are the first to act. You may have a chance to get across, perhaps like your horse. All right, give me an acrobatics check as you hit some of the slippery areas of the board. Now that the heads are writhing and splashing, you slip and slide a little bit. Um, so I'm going to say you don't make it quite as far as you would have liked. Were you dashing, or sorry, were you spending like a cunning action or anything? Well, I guess basically with how you rolled, right? Yeah, if you don't dash, you'd end up sort of pretty close. Mm, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there are 12. Roll it up. Ooh, you hit one of its eyes. So that is again, we got a plus 10, a master hit. Uh, with that hand crossbow, gives you plus 2 damage in addition to a major consequence. And you know what?
Kill ahead.
I'll
Major
trigger
consequence.
sneak attack damage as well onto there because yeah. And that head goes limp.
Nice. Oh, really?
Which head were you shooting at, if it matters? Like the middle there? Doesn't matter. All right. They're all writhing around anyway. Yeah. All right, so Felix, you see, or sorry, Godfrey, you see, or sorry, Felix, did you have any bonus action? Or cunning action? I don't think dodge is part of cunning action. Dash, disengage, hide. Where are you gonna hide? Yeah. Oh. All right. Give me a stealth check. Nice. All right. So you place yourself if you want to be to a side of the bridge or whatever. But yeah, you grip yourself. So Godfrey, you see Felix charge across. He sort of slips and stumbles, turns around, lets off this master shot, catching one of the Hydra heads in the eye, which collapses. But then Felix seems to continue and tumble off the side of the causeway. And it's your turn, Godfrey.
Uh, well, it's unfortunate that Felix has come to an untimely end.
Are you gonna mount?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're gonna tempt fate.
Well, what's the worst that happens? My horse dies.
Sure, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, let's do it. I ride
Do it.
up onto the Hydra, and I'm just gonna try and give him the old Lance. Just call me Sir Lancelot, because I Lance a lot.
The Hydra laughs at your pitiful joke. The second one hits though.
Here we go.
Normal hit.
So 3 damage there, and fuck it, I'll put a level 1 smite for an extra 2 damage.
Oh yeah. Okay, never mind. All right, so extra 2 damage with level 1 smite. Nice. So 5 total. And that causes another head. You spear this one, and it lets out a call and gurgle as you retrieve your spear from its failing neck. Da, da, da. Jor takes a shot. Hey, didn't bring me along here for nothing. Catching another one of the heads, but this one doesn't go down. And maybe I'll back up just a little more though. And brings us to the wizard.
The wizard is going to keep an appropriately far distance, and then on the head that is not doing so hot, yes, a magic missile.
All right. Missiles careen in, doof, 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 beating up on the heads, but they seem they're squirming, and you don't seem to. You might not hit the same one you intended, or who knows how this thing is going. But the rest of them reel back. They sort of looked almost dazed by the rapid assault that they rolled last in the initiative order. However, there's still 4 of them heads left, and 2 of them are going after Felix. Which are considered to be flanking as they snake their way. Actually, Felix, from your oh no, sorry, you're hiding. I forgot that. Right. Da, 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 da. Yeah, no, they don't notice you, and they're not searching for you because they got meteor targets. All right, going at True Silver first. Shouldn't have it. Why do you have it? All right, so normal attack 13. It should miss True Silver. No, it might hit. Are you taking, or are you going to take the attack? Gone free.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, it misses. Clangs off your shield.
Ding.
Ooh, this one coming in though seems to get past your guard if you're defending True Silver.
Yeah.
All right. So this one deals you 2 piercing. Your current AC is 20 with your shield. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one does +1 damage and a minor consequence. So 3 damage total. And I'm gonna say this one latches on to your shield arm, and you're not gonna get your shield bonus next for a round, basically.
All right. Ah,
Yeah, he's like lashing onto your shield, and you're trying to fight him off, but it's hard with the lance,
yeah, yeah.
at this range. Um, and that's when the other two use the opportunity to sneak in. True Silver and True Silver. Taking both.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 4 more damage.
Okay.
And I got baby stuff.
Okay. I'm down to 13.
Be right back and read a snack.
Shit. I was just reading the news that they gave Dave Filoni an even bigger hat at Star Wars. I saw the meme, but I didn't realize that was in reaction to this. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just like, in my mind, it's like, who was responsible for finding and hiring Tony Gilroy for 2 seasons of Andor? And get that person to find and hire more writers. Right. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
All right. So, Felix, in horror, you watch, right, as the heads are, attacking. You can't see, the other side of the causeway, but you can, hear the neigh of a true silver and the clang of Godfrey's shield and weapons, and then you suddenly see 4 more heads burst out of the water after the 2 dead ones sink into the mire. He's True Silver's still alive, but all right. Sorry. Yeah, I gotta go do baby stuff again. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah. Right. I saw the Yahtzee left the escapist and like a bunch of people. Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, Yahtzee is like doing his own thing now. Or with other
Oh,
people, I guess.
so he's not doing zero. So he's not.
It's
Wow.
literally like something else. It's like synonyms for zero punctuation. It's like some clever alternative name. Yeah. Right.
Nice. I never gave up my RSS feeds. Oh, I've had I've had Feedly since like the day that Google Reader shut down, and I got my feeds. You know what's wild? Yeah. I think the site that I have unequivocally spent the most time on over the past 15 years has been Feed. Well, 10 years at this point has been Feedly. because I read like 2 to 3 hours a day on feed. Like everything I read on the internet's on Feedly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, crowdfunding, Patreon, and like all these kinds of things, like people being able to just make things and then directly support the things that they like being made. Like figuring out like it kind of took like a couple of companies to come along and like provide like the services that like allowed that sort of thing to exist, right? But like now that we have that, it does feel like there's some amount of like the original promise of the internet like coming through there in the terms of like, this is going to like democratize everything, which like it hasn't, but crowdfunding feels like a step towards that in a good way. Right. Those were always shitty. Yeah. Yeah. This is like an actual business model. Yeah.
So is there a new site for the escapist folks that left? Hmm. Probably longer. The weekly online magazine in 2005. Wow, remember that? That was such a different time.
Oh, Yahtzee's new thing is fully ramblomatic.
Oh, that's been his thing for ages. It's been his like personal site for years.
Okay. Well, that's what he's now just putting his zero punctuation videos under.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh, their new thing, I think, is called Second Wind, which is like, boy, that's a real. I mean, I guess all of these things, like Waypoint, is also just doing like remap, which feels like I don't know. It's like right. It's such a like like a capitalism thing where it's like, well, God, we can't just let this branding go to waste, right? Like, how do we roll this branding into our new brand? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Mm. Yeah. I watch their Twitch streams sometimes when they're playing something that looks interesting. Yeah, yeah, those have been great. Yeah. Mm. Hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, just take it. Mhm. Yeah. There's so many things that I think about like that where, like, if you had the right intel ahead of time. Right, right. Like, I just think about this with, like, for my job, like, I go into a lot of, like, museums and stuff through, like, security doors and, like, I'm in, like, back areas and stuff, and there's so many times where I'm walking around in back areas, like, digging around in server rooms and stuff, and people who work in the building who have no idea who I am are just, like, walking by me, like, not even 0 concerns about what I'm doing or, like it's like there's so many places you can just, like, walk into and just start doing shit. Yeah, somebody probably signed off on that, right? Yeah.
You guys are the reason that I make everybody go to multiple social engineering trainings every year.
So that they're not easily duped.
Yeah. Trust fucking nobody.
Mm.
If you see something, say something. So the second wind Patreon is at $60,000 a month already.
Jesus. Yeah, it's a conglomerate and whatnot, but that's still very, very good. Mm-hmm.
So first there was Patreon, there was Kickstarter, and then Patreon, and then OnlyFans. Like, what's the next big internet enablement platform such that I can just invent it and make all that sweet, sweet money?
I don't know. I'm just trying to profit off the current platforms.
Like if somebody gives me that idea, I'll just go start a company.
It doesn't look like AMSA lists theirs. Which is a lot. Yeah. It's enough money to pay for them to go on the Halcyon before it closed. And it is so funny how the farther they get away from that event, they're all just like, man, life peaked at the Halcyon, huh?
What's that?
It was the Star Wars
Oh.
hotel that cost like thousands of dollars to go to. These so these Star Wars podcasters basically were able to get in on like one of the last weekends that it was open. And they did like
Nice.
basically like here's what it's like if you go on the Halcyon podcast couple episodes. And while they were on the Halcyon and immediately after it, they were like, this was kind of mid, like this was kind of gross, like this was bad. I wish this had been like this had been like this. Right. They were like, this was such a waste of fucking money. Like they were like, we barely even paid for this. Like it came out of like, money we get for doing like a side podcast basically. And like we still feel like we were ripped off. So like, but it's been a couple of weeks and now every time they talk about it more and more fondly as they get away from that from the experience, which is interesting.
I mean, they love the idea of it more than they love the execution.
Yeah, right. Right. If you want like a cool Star Wars RP experience, there's much better ways to do it that don't involve spending $6,000. I also find it extremely funny that they have a room that just is like open to the outside Florida, and they're like, "This is the holodeck where we simulate the conditions on Batu." I find that so stupid and charming. You never played KOTOR? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. It's not really one you can kind of go back to like with fresh eyes. Hmm. Oh, okay.
For
There's
code
still
part?
hope for you to play it yet, but you know the remake's going to be garbage. Well, I mean, do you think the remake is going to have the plot with like the sex droid who's like trapped by the woman who wants to kill himself? See, but that's you're scrubbing the writing. You're scrubbing what made that game incredible, which is its incredibly uneven writing. Like those early BioWare quests, they just go for it. Ah, yes. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, but now those are like baked in. That's like what people remember. So right. Mm. Yeah. 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 Right. Nice. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that some point soon. Oh man. Yeah, as long as it's a faithful adaptation of what was there and is feels a little more playable, then we're good. Well, I don't know when we're gonna get Zach back, but I can't stay too much later than 11 because I need to get ready for bed.
I think we're gonna call it. Yeah.
Naturally. We'll find out. Bye.